Alright, so I decided that we're going to work on a wallpaper today. So let's go into web and let's see if we could figure out what size dimensions I have. Okay, so I have a MacBook Pro 15-inch. So let's go and click this option here, and that's going to, as you can see, it's going to switch all my presets. And we're going to do Luis wallpaper 1. Alright, so let's do that. And like I said, I like to work on a transparent background for now, and I'll press create. Cool, so that's all set. Artboards are here. I did not take off that option, but it doesn't matter, we'll leave that there for now. So we'll just leave this as layer 1, and let's go and find an image that we could use. So I live in LA, for anybody that doesn't know that, and I want a new wallpaper. So I'll just kind of show you what I have here. I have my name, I have some files. I'll get rid of that so you guys can't see what I'm working on. And yeah, so I did this wallpaper a few months ago, and I just kind of wrote my script in there, and now it's time to do another one. So I'll kind of, let's just copy this image and then we'll bring it in here. So let's create a new folder for image, and I'm going to drop this in. A shortcut here that's really good, we're going to do Command V, and that should drop the image in here. Alright, so that's in there. Let's go ahead and press Control T, and that's going to allow you to free transform this image. So a couple of, if you watch my last tutorial, I dove into a couple shortcuts, but one of the main shortcuts that I like to use, and I recommend any designers to get familiarized with, are the options that you could do with Shift, Option, and Command. And right now, since I'm on Command T, that being the shortcut for Mac users, I'm gonna go ahead and press Shift and drag this corner in. So what that does, it keeps the image the same ratio. So if I don't press Shift, this is what happens. I let go of Shift and it kind of just goes anywhere it wants. So again, I'm gonna press Shift and it goes back to where I had it, and I think that looks about nice. That looks pretty cool. I believe that's Echo Park, and that's a skyline behind the park. I'm gonna stretch this out a little bit and just kind of I want to rotate it just a little bit, just so it looks like it's, you know, horizontal. So let's do that. All right. So I'm trying to figure out what I should do with it. The last wallpaper was obviously black and white, so let's mess around with some options here. We could add some filters, some effects through this part here. Let's change up the color. So we're gonna kind of run through these here and kind of show you what each one of these options do. So brightness and contrast, you could brighten up the image, or you could darken it. Kind of like how dark it is. We'll do a -80. And then contrast, so you can see what it does. Kind of either darkens or lightens up, like the black and whites, right? It's pretty much what contrast does. Let's go somewhere around here. So that's the brightness and contrast. Let's take it off, and you can see how it dramatically changes the image itself. One thing I forgot to do was, if you press Command R, you'll see that the rulers pop out from the top and to the left. So I want to somewhat, I want to make this horizontal. So I still feel like there's some room here to rotate it a bit. So I think I'm gonna do that. Just press Enter, and that's it. So I think that looks pretty good. So again, let's take off the effects. Let's put this into a folder. Let's add another effect here. So I'll show you what we do with levels. So with levels, you could play around with the blacks, kind of fade it out, something a little different. Black and whites, You could either decide with this option here with the center option, so it kind of gives you two far, like on the far left you have like where the blacks stand, and then on the far right where the white color stands. So in the middle you could decide to see which way we decide to go. So it's actually on the opposite. If you decide that you want more, I guess you want to darken up the image a bit, you could do that. So I think I'm gonna do that and just kind of set it at 0.78, and let's see what that does. So if we go down here, take the levels off, like you can see it's kind of, we're adding this like faded effect. So let's run down to curves. Curves the same thing, kind of just play around with these and see, play around with the fade and how you could actually bring this all the way down and it'll give you this like super cool effect. So let me just close this out for you so you could see kind of red towards the back. I really don't like that, so let's just kind of like bring this all the way up again. You could brighten it up just a little bit, bring it down here. That should do. You see it just brightens it up just a little bit. So far that's the original image, and then this is the edited image. So you can see it just looks a little darker. Let's do a couple more. You just run down this list. The exposure here, exposure either to the left, negative, or to the positive, just kind of like on your DSLR. Kind of works the same way, just allows more more light exposure to come through the lens. So it kind of gives you that effect. So I'll do a plus, we'll do a plus 73. Let's do a plus 75. So I like to do that number. So let's do that. Let's kind of go in here. You can see what before and after kind of gives it more of like a sunset type of look. And I've brought out a lot of the colors up here. So like these reds, these purples, some of these dark type of like purple grays. And let's run down the list again, and let's keep going down to like vibrance. What vibrance does, it adds it's a vibrant effect. So you can see these white lights are kind of popping up a little bit more. As you could see, they weren't so dark before. Let's take that off. And again, let's click off the effects. Cool. So we're getting this like really cool type of tone, very gradient, purplish, like reds. So Q is going to allow you to mess with the colors a little bit. So if you decide to either go, super purple, or go to blue, go to yellow, you see how this starts changing it, the saturation. Decided to go with like a blue effect here. Actually, I don't like none of those, so actually that one doesn't look bad. So we could do like a plus 5, and then we could do like a plus 25 here and see what that gives us. And then you could brighten it up just a little bit, or you could darken it. So we did a negative 10, and that's how you use the hue. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 effects. And let's kind of just run down the list and see if there's like, we could use this color balance too. And color balance, like you could either apply more like cyan or red. And that's what I'll do here. I'll just add just a little bit magenta, add some more purples into it, and maybe some kind of put focus on the blues. Actually, the yellow might be really good if I do that. Kind of like where that's going. So let's see before. So you see how all of these effects are popping up. See that the greens are coming out a little bit. So let's go ahead and click off of that. It's before and after. Let's add one more effect. And just to show you, this is what black and white does. It just obviously just turns your image black and white. We don't want to do that. I want to keep all the colors that we did before. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that just by pressing delete. And now I have this really cool overall wallpaper. So let me see if there's any other filter that I want to add. You could also press, if you click invert, it's just going to invert all the colors. As you can see, it does this like crazy inversion. I don't really like it, but let's see what happens if I like drop the opacity down to 50. And you could do this by clicking the number 5, and I believe this shortcut works on all platforms. So that didn't really work. There we go. So I guess 50 is like a neutral, then 60, and then 50 is gray, and then you have 40. So actually, let's get rid of that. Let's keep it as is now, and let's work on some of the effects up here. So you could actually apply like multiple opacity effects, which you can find up here, and you kind of just run through these. I like to like experiment and just kind of either click one of these and see which one works really cool. So if you do the multiply is one of my favorites, where it kind of like allows, when you do a full color, it allows for that color to like give this opacity effect where it just kind of like the whole image turns that specific color. Doesn't work here, but I'll show you. So let's just add a full solid color, and I'll show you what that does. So let's use this orange, and then we use multiply, and that comes up. So that's really cool. If we do that and we let's drop that to like about 25%. So you see how that changes everything? Actually, we gotta go to pass through again, and then see that orange kind of like darkens the image a little bit. So you can play around with this. I actually like this color fill. So let's see, we could add blue, green. You know, if you press purple, if you want more of a purple look, a reddish look, a blue, kind of bring out the sky. This kind of type of like greenish color I really like, and it really like focuses on this general area here. So I'll show you what that looks like. Let's just leave that there, and that's at 25. If we drop it down to like, let's say 10%, that works. 50 kind of goes into this greenish mode. Let's drop it down to 20%. And so you see, from the original version to what it is now, I'm really liking this color here, but let's move down. Let's see if we can get a different effect. I'm really liking like the orange and yellow. So let's just stick to that. I'm gonna stick to this orange. It kind of like brings out all the colors in this general area, and as you could tell, it kind of recolors the clouds a bit. So go ahead and do that, and that's it. I think that pretty much covers pretty much half of the effects in this option panel here. And those are just for adjustment layers. So let's go ahead and save this, and I'll add this to. So let's go ahead and save. Let's do desktop, and let's do Luis Wallpaper 1. We'll save that, and that's pretty much it. Let me show you what that looks like. So go ahead here and just do set desktop picture, and alright, that's it. Have a new wallpaper. Hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial, and that's how to dive into Photoshop and create a wallpaper with different adjustment layer effects. Thanks everyone. Enjoy, like, comment, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can follow me at Works by Luis and 6manlou on Instagram, and youtube.com/worksbyluis. I'm sorry, not Works by Luis. I'm so used to that. YouTube.com/Quickcolor. Alright, thanks everyone.